to my channel. My name is Tobias, and today we're going to look at how to add fractions. So we've got a formula down here. We've got two fractions, a divided by b and c divided by d. And when we want to add them, we want to calculate a common denominator and then add the numerators like shown in this formula down here. So we take this denominator and expand our first fraction by it, so d times a and d times b. And then we say plus because we want to add them together, and then we expand this fraction by b. So we say b times c and b times d. And now we can see that it says d times b and b times d. That's the same because it doesn't matter if we say d times b or b times d. Like 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. So now we've got a common denominator, so we put it down here. And now we just have to add the numerators. So d times a is the same as a times d, so we write that. Then we say plus, and then we take b times c for the rest. And this is our formula for adding two fractions together. So let's have a look at some examples. We've got the fractions 1 divided by 4 and 2 divided by 4. This time we've got a common denominator already. So we just have to add them together in the following way. We've got a common denominator, so we just have to add the two numerators together. So we've got 1 divided by 4 plus 2 divided by 4. That equals 1 plus 2, that's our two numerators added together, over our common denominator 4. And then we just add 1 plus 2, that's 3, and that's divided by 4. So this is our added fraction, because when we add these two together, we get 3 divided by 4. Our example 2, we've got almost the same setup. We've got a common denominator already, so 3 divided by 7 and 2 divided by 7. Then we just do this very same like up in example 1. So we just take our common denominator down here, 7, and then we add together the two numerators, 3 plus 2, like this. And then in the end we get 3 plus 2, that's 5, divided by 7. So that's these two fractions added, we get this one down here. Now it gets a little bit more difficult and we have to use our formula. So we've got 1 divided by 2 and 1 divided by 3. We want to add these fractions together. This time we've got no common denominator, so we have to do it like the formula said. So 1 divided by 2 plus 1 divided by 3. Now we take this denominator and expand this fraction by it. And then we do the same the other way around. So we take this fraction and expand it by this denominator. This would look like this. So we take this number 3 and we expand the first fraction by it. And then we take the second fraction, and then we expand it by this denominator 2. So 3 times 1 over 3 times 2. And then we say 2 times 1 over 2 times 3. Now you can see that 3 times 2 is the same as 2 times 3, that's 6. So we got a common denominator by doing this, and we just take the common denominator, and then we just have to add the two numerators together. So 3 times 1 is the same as 1 times 3, that's this part, plus 2 times 1, which is the same as 1 times 2, or whatever. So we get 3 plus 2 over 6, so divided by 6 here. And 3 plus 2, that's 5, divided by 6. So our common denominator was 6. Example 4, we've got the fraction 1 divided by 4 and 2 divided by 7. Now we want to add them together, and we do the same thing as before. Now we expand this fraction by this denominator and this fraction by this denominator. So 1 divided by 4 plus 2 divided by 7. We take this first fraction and expand it by 7. So 7 times 1 over 7 times 4. And then we say plus, and then we do the same with this fraction, but using this denominator and expanding. 4 times 3 over 4 times 7. Now we have a common denominator because 7 times 4 is the same as 4 times 7. So we use the same common denominator here. And we say 1 times 7 plus 3 times 4. And 1 times 7, that's 7. And 3 times 4, that's 12. and 4 times 7, that's 28, and 7 plus 12, that's 19, divided by 28. So these two fractions added together give us this new fraction, 19 divided by 28. Maybe we could reduce this fraction a bit, but that's for another lesson. So this is our fraction in the end by adding these two together. And then we've got a fifth example. Now we've got three different fractions. We've got the first one, the second, and the third one here. Our first, second, and third. And we want to add them together, so 1 divided by 2 plus 1 divided by 3 plus 1 divided by 4. And this time we have to expand this fraction by both these denominators. And we do the same with the fraction in the middle. We take this denominator and this denominator, and the last one, the last fraction here, then we take 2 and 3, the two denominators from the two first fractions. So I've tried to color code it here. So the first fraction will be expanded by both 3 and 4, like this. The second fraction will be expanded by both 2 and 4, like this. And the last fraction will be expanded by 2 and 3. Because in this way we get 3 times 4 times 2, 2 times 4 times 3, and 2 times 3 times 4. All this is the same, so we get the same denominator. And then we just have to add the numerators together. 3 times 4 times 1, that's the same as this, plus 2 times 4 times 1, that's the same as this part, and plus 2 times 3 times 1, that's the same as this part. So this is equal to 12, this is equal to 8, and this is equal to 6. So that are our numerators added together. And now 2 times 3 times 4, that's 24. So we get 12 plus 8, that's 20, plus 6, that's 26, divided by 24. Once again, we can maybe reduce this fraction a bit, but this is our final result of adding these three together. You can do it with 4, 5, 6, and so on fractions if you want to. You just have to follow this formula. You could also firstly look at these two fractions and add them together, find a common denominator and so on, and then add the new fraction here with this one, and you would get exactly the same result. So there are multiple ways to do this. One alternative way is to just look at your numbers and see if you can find a common denominator just by looking at them, because 24 is maybe a bit high. We can look at 2 and 3 and 4, and we can see that both 2 and 3 and 4 go into 12. So we just have to expand the first one to get the denominator, to get let it become 12, and down here also. So we have to get a common denominator that's 12, because 2 goes into 12, and 3 goes into 12, and 4 goes into 12. So we have to expand the first one by 6 to get a denominator with a value of 12. We've got to expand the second one by 4 to get a common denominator of 12, and we have to expand the last one by 3 to get a 12 here too. So we get 6 times 1, that's 6, plus 4 times 1, that's 4, plus 3 times 1, that's 3, divided by 12. So we get 13 divided by 12. And that's actually the same as this one up here. If we reduce this fraction by 2, we get this fraction down here. So you can always look at your problem and see if you can find a common denominator just by looking at your numbers. And if not, you can always use this method up here if you want to. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.